Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lechtech Musar podcast. We continue with the Pele Yoeitz. We are on page 145 in the article, day 47 of Hachzik. Now we're going to start a new topic called Chemda, material desire. So we know that there's nothing good about the relentless pursuit of material gain, which is so greatly in this world promoted by Western culture and the society around us, and a person's desire should be for spiritual matters alone. It happens to be, I'm just going to say this wasn't scripted, but I had a very important talk with my son on the way to yeshiva today. We were discussing learning and incentives. We started to learn some Mishnayos, and I told him that if we learn a certain amount, that I'll give him a treat. We'll give him a trip. Doesn't matter exactly the pratim, but the point is that there was, we're learning, and then there is an incentive. And as a child matures, we already take it for granted, and we kind of know the answer. But there's a hidden question, I think, that lies whenever we associate ruchnius with gashmius, which is we're all about ruchnius, and we're all about doing more mitzvahs and learning more Torah and setting ourselves away, making a partition between the gashmius. So isn't it a little bit counterintuitive? If we're meant to focus on the ruchnius and we're meant to focus only on HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the Torah and to become more pure and more refined and distilled, if you will, as much as possible on the most granular level possible. So why would we reward? We know you go to yeshiva and there's rewards and there's prizes and maybe sometimes there's trips and maybe sometimes a little extravagant. So when I was telling my son that we're going to learn something and then there's an incentive which revolves around gashmius and we can go anywhere on a trip for a full day and it sounds so much fun. So as we're about to talk about material desire, I think it's an important idea to really just understand the das Torah over here. What does the Torah want from us? How do we have the two things that don't seem to be able to jive? They don't seem to be able to coexist, the ruchnis and the gashmis. And a lot of times you go to yeshiva, you go, and there's always some type of prize, there's some type of incentive with gashmis for the ruchnis. So if ruchnis is meant to increase and meant to inspire and ignite more ruchnius, so why am I bringing gashmis into the equation? How does it shtim? So what I told my son, which is something that is often spoke about in the Mefarshim, Al Torah, many of the Parshas, it's this seemingly discord between the ruchnius and the gashmis, but the answer is that really it's all one. And I explained to my son with the following question. I said, do you think your Rebbe eats pizza? Pizza's geschmack, pizza's gashmis. Do you think your Rebbe ever has a good steak, or a good hamburger, or a roll of sushi? It's all, it's more than just bread and tuna. It's geschmack, it's delightful, it's tainug. And he had trouble answering the question. He said, well, I think so, but then he's thinking about his Rebbe and how heilig he is, and he's the one that teaches him, and I didn't mean to jade or distort his perception of his Rebbe, but it's important for even a second grader, a third grader to understand that, the Rebbe also will have a slice of pizza. He'll enjoy a good steak, a good barbecue, a good swim, right? It's hot outside. People go swimming. Swimming is gashmias. So with this question, I brought him into a new understanding about chemda, about material desire in general. And the yisoid is, Kibalti Meraboisai from my Rebbeim, Hashem created this world, Lahanosai, to enjoy. Hashem gave us cars, He gave us houses, He gave us food. Right? Not to just say, I don't need this, and when someone serves you a steak to push it off the table. That's tipshus, that's foolish, that's not Yiddishkeit. It's to enhance. The backdrop that we have to understand before we learn anything about chemda, about material desire, is that and we spoke about this dozens of times throughout the Pele Yoeitz, we can sanctify anything. When we make a bracha, when we have in mind, our intentions can shape anything. When we're eating a steak, but we say, Hashem, I'm eating a steak, but I enjoy steak, and I'm doing it because I want to serve you. I'm doing it because I want the protein, I want the taste, I want to appreciate you and talk about how delicious it is and how amazing you are. You run the world, and there's a cow, and there's shchita, and then it goes to the store, and then comes to me, and the whole process, you become a big Baal B'tachon through eating a steak. Going for a swim. I'm going for a swim because I need to cool down. I want to have a good time. I want to have exercise. I see the water and all the chemical reactions of chlorine and all the stuff you put into the pool. It's amazing, and you could talk about it. It's all Hashem running it. If we bring Hashem, if we integrate Hashem into our day-to-day operations, our day-to-day activities, our actions, then we're taking Hashem's world and we're infusing the gashmius with ruchnius, or the other way around. We're taking ruchnius and infusing the gashmius. But the point is that either way you look at it, there's a synthesis, there's harmony, there's peace between the two. a person who doesn't understand, says you have ruchnis and gashmis. How can you have both? How can you eat a hot dog? How can you eat a piece of chicken? It's gashmis. You should eat the bare minimum, pas and melech, bread and salt and water. How can you have a soda? How can you ever enjoy a Gatorade or a Slurpee? But the answer is that there's a way a yid does something, there's a way a yid enjoys, and that's, yes, it's gishmak, but I'm doing it as a stepping stone. I'm doing it to bring me somewhere else. I'm doing it for the Eibishter. And when we do that, then there's no greater Kiddush Hashem. We're sanctifying, as I spoke about many, many times. There's ruchnis atoms in the world, everything. And when we make a bracha and we're mekadesh, we're literally changing the world. We're bringing meloich chol haaretz kavod. We're bringing kedusha to the entire world. So when we are enjoying a steak, Hashem doesn't say it's us to eat a steak, doesn't say that anywhere. We should limit it, yes, and during the 9 days, we're not meant to eat meat because there's the Indian of Korban Abayis. And some people takar makbid always never to have meat because of the Korban Abayis, or never to listen to music. But the average person, we eat, we enjoy, we go swimming, we go to an amusement park, we go on a Ben Izman vacation, all these things. Why? The answer is because Hashem wants it. It's lechatchil, it's not b'diavad. There's no stira. It's not that the two things can't coincide. The two things do coincide, and there's perfect harmony. How does that happen? Because when you take anything and you do it for the Eibishter, you sanctify, you say, Hashem, I'm doing this for you, that can serve you better, that I can clear my head, I can have yeshiva das, I can have koyach. Then there's nothing more beautiful. That's the most beautiful, perfect way of serving the Eibishter. That's how the two things coincide. That's something I explained to my son. Yes, your Rebbe might not advertise that he's eating pizza or sitting in J2 over sushi and pizza and French fries. Yeah, he's not doing that. But can he enjoy a slice of pizza in his house? Can he have a barbecue with his family? Can he go swimming? The answer is absolutely. What do you mean he's a Rebbe and Rebbe? No, everyone has to do these things because this is why Hashem made the world. But the way he does it and the way we're supposed to do it is with a hilikait, is with the hoibinekait. The way we do it, how we do it, is what defines, is what separates a person who's all about gashmis and a person who is using the gashmis as a chitimsa to fuel, to synthesize, to become one with the ruchnis and make Hashem proud. That Hashem is going to derive pleasure, the divine pleasure, even from using the gashmis. That's how they come together. That's how they coalesce. And with that, we jump into learning about chemda, material desire. Yidu rasa chemda kiraba. So after we said all of that, it starts, the evil of material desire is well known, for it is truly great. The first of the Seres Adibris is Anochi Hashem. The last is Loisachmaid. And the Mefarshim tell us that the most severe of all of them is Loisachmaid, which includes the prohibition to covet material things. Because when a person has chemda, desire for material, desire for gashmis, he can transgress the entire Torah. Your friend, he has a beautiful watch, and he said, I wish I had that somehow. Maybe I should steal it from him. Maybe I can buy it off him and force him to sell it to me, right? And you don't even do it. That's all from chemda. And the Torah tells us that even if you're chashuv belibai, that yavay chifetz el yada, you want that somehow they should end up by you. You're over on the lav of leisisava, of the sachman. Don't be jealous. And says the Yoeitz, this is a famous kasha. How can the Torah command us not to be chayimid, not to want other people's things, to desire? How is it possible? If desire, if jealousy is a feeling, how can the Torah command me on a feeling? The answer is, I think it's famously quoted from the Sas Emes, that you have to work on the bitachon. I think Ben and the Mefarshim go with that, and that's what the Yoeitz says. That the way you want to know how to overcome your desires and how Hashem commanded us, don't be jealous. I could put on tefillin, I could keep Shabbos, I could not eat on Yom Kippur, I can be mechaber to my parents, but how Hashem can you command me not to have feelings? I'm jealous, I want the guy's Rolex, I want the guy's car, I want to go on a vacation to Florida just like him. So how can Hashem do that? It's my heart. Hashem created my heart. So what I do? The answer is, says the Yoeitz, one has to constantly strengthen himself to come to realize that all material pursuits are futilities without any real substance. And when a person works on that, When a person realizes it's mamish nothing, then you're not going to have any chemda, you're not going to have any desire for other people's things. So this is similar to the pshat of bitachon. You work on Hashem, whereas Hashem has ways of allocating all of the wealth and everything a person needs. But so this is actually different, because over here what the Pele is telling us is that when a person, besides working on bitachon, but when a person works on realizing that everything is hevel avalm, this is the answer. When you realize that what I'm desiring, what I wish the other person has, is hevel havalim. It's futility of futilities. How can I be chaymidim? I don't want it. It's nothing. It's gashmis. If a person is a Talmid Chacham, he's a Yerush Shamayim, he knows Shas, he knows Paiskim. Okay, so that there's a mitzvah to be like him. Kina Seifrim is Tar B'Chachma. Hashem wants us. Hashem wants positive jealousy for great things. But for gashmis, if a person is not constantly working on himself to realize that it's mamish nothing, then he's being over on the love of this Achman. Hashem says, I can command you on a feeling, because the more you work on realizing that everything else is nothing, I don't need the gashmis of the guy's nice house, the guy's nice boat, the guy's nice vacation, the guy's nice watch, the guy's barbecue grill, whatever else, the smoker in the back, whatever it is. There's a million things you can be jealous of. The guy's pen you can be jealous of, anything. But you realize that it's all nothing, and we're here for greatness, we're here for an elevated reason, then you're not going to come to desire and to be jealous of other people's things. That is what the Torah is saying. Don't be jealous. Yeah, it's a feeling, but if you work on your recognition of the transient world, the fleeting, the passing world that we live in, then you're going to come to not being chaymed, and that's how you're mekayim the mitzvah. Beautiful. So, in light of all these principles, the Yoeitz offers some practical advice. If one wishes to desire a certain object, then there's a way to do it permissibly. He should think, if only it would be that Hashem would send me such an object. But in truth, this is also futile, and you're manipulating our relationship with Hashem. So what should we think? A person should desire to attain wisdom and understanding. And a person should try to ask for great midos and to purify himself to become a great tzaddik. Because like we said before, these are not just advised, but it's a mitzvah to be jealous of others who attain these levels and to cultivate this depth of desire and a burning love to get to these madregas, because this will propel him even further in his ruchnis. When a person channels his desire for things, his desire for other people's gashmis, material things, when he channels it in the correct way and says, you know what, I'm not going to focus on the falsehoods of life. I'm going to focus on reality. I'm going to look for the Talmidei Chachamim. I'm going to look for the Yerush Shamayim. I'm going to look for the Balei Chesed and say, I want to be like them. I want to have their lot. I want to have their Yerush Shamayim. I want to have their attributes, their positivity, their good midas, their good wholesomeness, their shleimus. Channeling in the good way not only would be abstaining from an avera, but it would be a kiyum mitzvah of wanting other people's ruchnis, of wanting other people's great levels, and then he will be saved from destruction of avera, and a good blessing will come upon him because he'll be able to propel in his avodas Hashem and taka reach those levels. So on the topic over here, where the Yoeitz tells us very piercing, penetrative words. The Yoeitz reminds us that a person always has to remember that everything is hevel havalim, meaningless, futility. These are all things without any substance. So it reminds me of a story to bring out this false thinking, the reality of the culture we live in, and how we can get swept away with it, but how false it is, how silly and counterproductive it is, because that's not what we're going to be greeted with in the real world. Brian Waxman once said he was sitting on a plane, he was going somewhere and he was sitting in first class, and he was sitting next to this extreme celebrity. And usually this doesn't happen, that there's so many people coming over to him and asking for autographs, and Ephraim Waxman, he's been in first class before. The person paying for his ticket wanted him to be able to sit and learn and daven, do what he has to do. And he had to go, but he never recalled being seated next to such a popular individual. And he looks over, he's busy trying to prepare his daf yomi shir, but the chaos, the noise going around, the commotion, he sees that this big person is sitting next to him with jewelry and he's signing autographs and he has bodyguards, and he says, okay, fine, very nice, it must be some very famous person, and he minds his own business, and Ephraim Waxman ducks down, puts his head back into his Gemara, he's preparing a daf yomi shir. After the plane takes off, everyone had to be seated. He gets tapped on his shoulder, and lo and behold, who is it? It's this big celebrity. And Ephraim Waxman looks up, says, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And this celebrity says, Ephraim Waxman sees this puzzled look, as if you don't know my name, because Ephraim Waxman is what's your name? Nice to meet you. And you don't know my name? And he says, no, I don't. And he introduces himself, and he says, I'm Kach V'Kach rapper, big star, world famous rapper. And Ephraim Waxman says, oh, okay, very, very nice. No, fine. And with tremendous pride, Ephraim Waxman shares, he says, the rapper tells him, you don't even understand how wealthy I am. I have yachts out in all seas of the world, and my concerts, for 1 hour, I get paid $100,000 for an hour of performing. And he mentioned that the real estate that he owns, it's nothing that's public records, but there's so many things hidden away in private islands and other countries, and you can't even believe it. And Ephraim Waxman says, well, unbelievable. And as Ephraim Waxman tries to get back to his sefer, preparing the daf yomi shir, the rapper says, Rabbi Ephraim, he says, look, he pulls out a picture of himself, signs the picture, and says, to my dear friend Rabbi Ephraim, signed by the rapper. What did Rabbi Ephraim Waxman, what do you have to say? What was the takeaway message? Ephraim Waxman said, how pitiful and pathetic this is. Here was a man surrounded by riches, displaying all the external trappings of royalty. He had literally everything at his disposal. Money, taiva, kavod, kesed, whatever, he had everything. But what did he need? He was yearning for one thing. He needed validation from someone like me, a yid with a beard, learning a Gemara. What does that say about this person? It says he mamish has nothing. If he has taka everything, it should bring him all the satisfaction, all the validation, all the self-content in the world. And he needs me sitting on a plane with a beard preparing a daf yomi shir with my hat and rekel. What does it say about his riches? It says that's really what he feels inside. That he needs me. He needs to write on a paper with a picture of himself, Rabbi Ephraim, with love, the rapper. Ephraim Waxman said, this highlights, showcases high level what money is all about. As we learned, B'tzarech, B'schazek, B'lachshev, Ki Hakol, Hevel Havolim. It's futility, not just regular futility. Hevel Havolim, futility of futilities. She'ein Bohem Mamish, it's Mamish nothing. Why is he seeking recognition, validation? Hi, Rabbi Ephraim Waxman, look at me, I'm the big rapper. Didn't you have all the riches? Don't you have the bodyguards? Don't you have everyone coming around you for you? Answer is, it's Hevel Havolim. That's what it means, Hevel Havolim. It's Mamish nothing. Torah, the Talmud Chacham, doesn't need any validation, any recognition. But money, we see from here, doesn't really do the trick. Hevel Havam. This is exactly what it means.